So, Theron, there's a question I have wanted to ask you for quite some time. And it was when you began to say, I've landed in this spot where I am a Chief Humanizing Officer. And it wasn't the word chief or the word officer, it was the word humanizing, which is like a action verb. It's a thing that you do or that you're helping others do or something you care about. And I would just love to hear more about what's behind it and how you find yourself explaining that to other people.
I do always struggle to know how to explain it. So I think I've tried in different ways. At the heart of it, I think it's deeply vocational for me. It's deeply motivated by a framework I have for living, very theologically motivated actually, based on some of the studies I've done, some of the direction of my academic work in a previous life, and defining it as an idea to actually make a label for myself, I think only came 3 4 years into Mygrow. And it plays out in multiple different ways in the business. And I'm not the only one who has those views and perspectives. So it's not really true to say that it's me who wants to humanize. It's the business, it's the people, it's the vision we have, which isn't just me. I think I've helped shape some of that as a founder, as a on the Exco team. But I hold that idea of humanizing in my title
Mhm.
on behalf of or as proxy for, I think, the whole brand, the whole business. Perhaps a good way to try and explain it is to go back to the genesis, the beginning of it for me. At the age of 30, I went to Vancouver, Canada to study a master's. I always have to be careful because I'm a little self-conscious how I explain this. But at that time in South Africa, at least where I was living, actually up in Durban, homelessness was not something that my racial group experienced. We experienced it at the traffic lights, at the robot, what we would call the robot. We were in our car, in our seat of privilege, and homelessness was outside, and it wasn't my race. It was a black South African who was homeless. And I remember at the time, trying to be, a good white South African moving into the new South Africa, however long that was, 94, 2010, 16 years later. What does it mean to be privileged? What does it mean to try and leverage what you have when you're in a position of strength? So I was conscious of all of that to an extent. But then I went to Vancouver, where on the sort of Vancouver east side, downtown east side, homelessness is a huge problem. And because everything runs on public transport, whereas back home I'm in my car, I'm in my little hermetically sealed transport unit, and homelessness is out there, and I'll wind my window down and I'll have a conversation and I'll try to give dignity, etc. So there I am on public transport in Vancouver, where you mix with the whole of society in the same space with someone who's homeless who looks like me. And this, in the first week of being there, I noticed that my own response to homelessness was so different now, because now it's me sitting next to me. And it sort of opened the door toward into a what became in many ways a line of study for me for the next 4 years in the humanities, trying to answer this question: what is a human? Because I don't know that I've wrestled with this yet. And the fact that here I am thinking I'm all enlightened and giving dignity to homelessness back home, to someone in a different racial category to me. Now I'm here with someone who's in my same racial category, and I know my response is different. And I see him more
Mm.
than I saw that lady or that guy on the street. So for me, that was the occasion that opened up just a whole line of exploration, um, to try and answer this question: